everyone's mics. There you go.
I'm not on
Oh.
now. No,
Am I
there
on?
we
There
go.
you go.
There we go. We'll just start off. From now on, we're just starting off every show like this. You ready? Okay. Let me know when you're ready, Lynette.
You know.
Okay. We're gonna start off every show like this. Just let out that big sigh. Just get it out of the way. Hey, it's 6 o'clock in the region. Can you turn me down just a little bit, though? We were trying to find this. It was humming a little bit last week. We're trying to see if there's any sort of hum. So if you're listening on the radio and you hear that
And then can
buzz,
you turn
let us
my ears
know.
Up?
Turn, yeah.
What mic are you on?
What is it? I think I'm on 13 down there.
And I'm on what's 16, so turn me down a little bit more. And then just let us know when we're live. She's like, you've been live. Okay.
You've been live
Yeah,
for
you've
5
been,
minutes.
you have been live.
We've been live for 15 minutes now. Okay, well, I'm just going to go ahead and turn myself in. It is 6:01 in the region. You're listening to the, what do we call it? The Winter of Chuck's. That's good right there. Thank you.
Yeah,
the Winter of Chuck's Discontent. And that's basically that's basically just the theme. That's what we're doing today. But first off, you want to hear about traffic and weather. Let's take a look at that. So looking at traffic, things looking good here in the region. Not much to report. Roadways are moving, 80, 94, 65. Skyway Toll Road, everything looking good. On the Illinois side, everything looking good. Nothing to report at the moment. Even the Dan Ryan, Bishop Ford, things moving along well there. But, you know the routine. If you see anything, 845-1100. But right now, everything moving along well in traffic. How is the weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 21 degrees with highs of 39 and lows of 35. It's going to be partly sunny throughout the day, and then tomorrow, Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 45 and lows of 27 with times of clouds and sun. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 28, and should be partly sunny.
Thank you so much. So I basically spent the last few minutes saying, are we just going to talk about Bad Bunny for the next 2 hours? Is there anything else going on? Is that what you guys want to talk about, the Bad Bunny Kid Rock situation? Because that was way more interesting than the actual game itself.
So we watched the game.
Well, get yourself set up first.
I am.
Because we can't hear you.
They're saying there is a hum on YouTube.
There is a hum? Well, yeah, something's broken. We got to fix it. Well, maybe we're going to fiddle with things once we get set up, and then maybe you guys can talk amongst yourselves, and we'll fiddle, and I'll see what's going on. We're trying to a little insider baseball, like Sam and Jim and everybody. They're like, hey, we should all that. Okay.
Yep, that's you.
Is that me?
Yep.
Am I humming?
No.
No. Okay. So he's like, hey, we should all get together and work on the studio. I said, okay, when do you guys want to do it? He said, well, how about Friday? I go, wait. He said, we're going to bring the engineer. He said, you want to work? I said, you guys want to work on WJOB on Friday the 13th. I go, why don't you just bring a ladder in and break some mirror?
Yeah,
you want me to come and work in this, go work around the transmitter in this building. You want me to work on the wires in this building on Friday the 13th. Like, are you out of your mind?
Okay, they're saying there is no hum.
There is no hum.
I hear a little bit of a hum.
Well, I think it's in our ears, but we'll work on it on Friday. So, but anyway, it's
we'll
probably
do it live.
We'll do it live. We'll do it live on Friday. There's nothing really going on Friday mornings around here.
No.
So we'll just interrupt whatever happens to be on Friday morning. We'll just interrupt that show, and I'll just throw some bars and tones up and see if we can figure out what's going on.
That works. I can hear myself speak, so I think I'm ready to go.
I think we're on the radio.
Yep.
That's the important thing. How are you this morning?
Wonderful. Yeah, so we let me put this. We had the Super Bowl on. I did not watch the Bad Bunny thing, not out of any protest or
I said don't get an article about you
shaking my fist at the sky. I just didn't watch it. But what's been interesting is to watch. Lynette said she didn't watch it, but she watched it. On the
she watches everything on the TikTok
the TikToks and the YouTubes and whatever else people under 40 are doing these days. But this morning, scrolling social media, there are two sides to it. I will hit one post and it'll say, oh, look, the entire crowd was, dancing and shouting and singing and praising, and it was glorious. And then you scroll down two more posts and there's some live shot of, someone up in the 400 section panning around and nobody's moving, is just kind of, watching it. So I guess the point is nobody really knows. Even the people that there aren't able to.
And this is what I was saying was, I am well, okay. So this will be the discussion, and I know a lot of our listeners are of our generation. I don't think that there's a lot of people in Ed's age getting out of bed at 6 a.m. and tuning into WGOB, an AM radio station that's 100 years old. Just maybe they check it out on TikTok later. I don't know.
Are we on the TikTok?
Do you put our highlights on TikTok? Maybe that's the problem with that. We need to be on the TikTok right next to the Olympics. Maybe that's our problem. We'll resonate with the young kids. We are not. Our audience is not the target audience of the Super Bowl anymore. Well, there's me. Yeah, that's me. There's me on TikTok. Yeah. We are not the target audience anymore, and that's one of the things that I think comes with. I was saying to somebody earlier, I said, I'm not the target audience of anything until the day comes I'm the target audience of Medicare Part D and reverse mortgages. I said, I'm basically out of the loop for a few more years until, they're trying to sell me Medicaid. So we have to sort of look at things through that lens of I am not the target audience. I'm not Bad Bunny's target audience. I'm not I'm never going to get Weird Al at the halftime show as much as we want him and stuff like. It's just not going to happen. And so that becomes sort of the inherent question is, I was trying to explain to somebody the other day about what's happening with NFL and what's happening with NASCAR. You're trying to target a new audience, and the reality is the older, let's just say, stay it straight, the older white dudes are going to watch regardless. So you don't really need to target them. You're trying to target the next generation.
Right.
You're trying to target a more multicultural next generation. And so that's going to be the theme moving forwards. We grew up in a world where it was about the, 18 to 35, white guy. It's not that world anymore. And that's the thing, is that it's not our world anymore.
The 35-year-old white guy is now the, 40 to 65-year-old white guy, and
right.
and so rightfully so, they're trying to get the 18 to 35.
Right. So you're targeting you. So you have aged out, and so that's the reality of it. And so, my friends on social media that are Team Kid Rock or Team Bad Bunny or whatever, it's a calculated decision that a whole room of people have made. And so, I did watch. I have no idea what he was saying. I have no idea what was going on. It was visually very well put together from an aesthetic point. I pointed out, even just to have a steady cam guy walk through fields of sugarcane and, having the visuals of falling through a roof and all that stuff. It was very well done. I have no idea what was happening, but it was very well done. So that's what I could say. So obviously, if that's what you guys want to talk about today, 219-845-1100. Because I said, that's
the internet says no Bad Bunny.
No Bad Bunny.
They say we don't want to talk about Bad Bunny.
Okay, well then, what do you want to talk about? That's the question. Is like that's sort of like in the old days we used to say, people gather around the water cooler. This is like the
this
the Monday
is water
morning
cooler talk. You go around, hey, did you watch it? Hey, the game was awful. The only thing I will say about the game is I was somewhat hoping that it would be a shutout. Yeah, be a shutout only because, and I'm my brother-in-law is one of those guys that he can tell you. Oh, on December 3rd, 1973, they scored this in the second quarter. I don't know any of that, but I did hear that it would have been the first Super Bowl that was a shutout.
Right, and it was up until the third quarter or whatever
that
was.
That would have been kind of cool to see, but
again, not a sports guy, so I really can't.
Go team.
Yeah, go team. Good, Yeah, one team brought 105%, the other one brought 110%. And that's just it was a
and whichever team went out there and scored the most points, they were the winner.
That's generally how it works, I think. I mean, for the most part. But
so in our house, we decided that Liam was rooting for the Patriots because when he was playing flag football at Lake Central, he was a Patriot.
Okay.
So that was how our coin toss was decided in our house. We did have a lot of good food, though.
Okay, well, that's the important thing, right? I think that's sort of what this has become is like you eat a lot of food, and it's almost it's basically become another holiday in this country. But what do you guys like to eat? What do you just eat all kinds of appetizers and stuff?
Yeah, that's what it was. We ended up going to Doc's. They had a special, so we had a bunch of stuff to take home. And then we went to Nothing Bundt Cake for our sweet treat for the night. And so we had brisket and cake.
Well, that's a fantastic combination.
Yeah. And it was so good it really didn't matter who was on TV or what was going on.
Well, I think that's the point, right? It doesn't really matter. And I guess that's always sort of what I want to understand about how that works is like, I've always tried to figure this out, and I try to ask my wife, like, okay, your team loses, so she's the Eagles, and around here it's like your team loses. Now what do you do? But you still watch, and that's where I'm sort of like, I don't get the philosophy of, okay, my team is lost, but I'm still going to pick somebody to root for because I like their uniform or I like their colors or something, whatever the case might be.
I think that may be just it.
Is that it? I mean, is that I just cracked the code?
Yep.
So, we also I was asking Lynette about this, and she just sort of like, I watch it on TikTok. Apparently, that's the same.
She blew you off the entire morning.
Well,
to be honest.
Come on, I'm her second favorite show. Why wouldn't
Yeah.
she's gonna on Wednesday? They're gonna spend all this time. It's gonna
Tom
be like,
Daverty, she would have the TikToks pulled up, ready to go. Say, hang on, Tom, you rest a second.
I've been prepping all day for you.
Yes, let me
So,
play the.
But she was also talking about the Olympics. So we've got the Winter Olympics in Italy have started, and that's another. Again, I could care less. I've never watched, and we were just talking about that weird opening ceremony from a few years ago. Again, I'm not the target audience. I'm not going to be. So you're like, hey, enjoy your curling, young people. But so she was saying though that she's consuming a lot of that on TikTok. So you're not waiting up till 3 a.m. to watch curling. You're like, I'll wait and watch it on TikTok the next day. But tell me what you were saying earlier about sort of the stories and stuff. I found that interesting.
Of the Bad Bunny performance?
No, but going back to the Olympics, like you like to hear their stories.
Yeah, no, I like when they upload TikToks and like make little vlogs of them preparing and stuff. They're funny.
Well, and so that becomes a thing is that, like with the Olympics, you've got a lot of people, generally younger, that have spent like their whole life, like, whether it is figure skating or whatever these people have really devoted a lot. Their parents have sacrificed, and you sacrifice a lot to make it to that level. And those are always, to me, that's interesting stories as well about, you don't just show up one day. It's not like football or whatever, Olympics, there's more dedication there.
Well, it's like last time there was, I think he was either Swedish or Norwegian. He was a swimmer. And all of his TikToks during the Olympics were him being obsessed with the chocolate muffins that they were serving there. And those are all of his TikToks while he was at the Olympics.
They're just about chocolate muffins.
Yes, and he went viral for it. So it's stuff like that I like watching on the Olympics.
Oh, sure. Bob eats chocolate muffins, and it's get the crumbs off the control board, Bob. But
right, why don't you do a whole?
Swede does it, and all of a sudden Lynette's like, ooh.
Yeah. Every Monday, Bob's going to come in and eat a muffin live on the air. We're going to do TikToks about it.
Yep.
And then see how that goes. Is Bob going to go viral?
And that's how I got really into Ilona Maher. She's a rugby player. She went to the Olympics. She was really cool too.
But she was just doing videos about like the hotel.
Yep.
It was like, hey, here's the hotel.
I remember a big thing that is their beds were really, really bad.
I mean, again, like, so you spend your whole life like preparing to be a figure skater, and then it's like, hey, I'm gone viral for what? For eating muffins.
Yeah.
Well, it's got to be part of the brand because she is extremely
brand
popular
muffins.
Now.
Yes.
Yes, brand muffins.
Brand muffins.
Now, here's my hot take on the Olympics. This is what I believe we should do. They should put Chuck or I or someone like us in each event as a control so you can see how talented these people really are.
No, although I remember that guy that went viral in the shooting competition because he just like showed up in a t-shirt.
Just showed up and
then
popped a few off. And
so it's like, so again, that would be, I mean, imagine that
the one guy after him had like the $1,200 blue light headpiece or whatever, and he just kind of squinted one eye.
And he's wearing arm braces and all this stuff. But imagine a scenario where like you and I show up and clean up at curling, and they're like, how did you guys do? Like, we don't know. We just
don't know.
We practiced in the parking lot before, and we were good at it. Like, what do you do?
Yeah,
we
were doing the luge outside of the WJOB studios, and
then they go, well, how are you so good at bobsledding? Like, well, I grew up driving the Dan Ryan way. I used to sled on the hill on Kennedy Avenue. It's like, well, that's how I learned how to bobsled. It's like, well, okay. And then there was the controversy we can't even talk about. The guys were stuffing themselves with silicone, and I'll leave that.
Yeah, my father sent me that article, which was interesting. Evidently, was this the one of the jumps?
The junks.
The junks. The high
we'll
junks?
leave it at there. Yeah,
the high junks. But I want to talk about this just for a second.
Go ahead.
I don't understand, and I didn't read the article. I just saw the headline, and that was enough.
Yeah, that was enough.
Where evidently some of these athletes were injecting silicone into their nether regions, and somehow that was a performance-enhancing thing. Watching Lynette laugh at this is just the best part of the morning. She's probably watching it on YouTube or on the TikTok.
She's on TikTok right now.
I'm pulling up with TikTok for the break for you guys.
Okay.
Hopefully there's not videos about that on TikTok.
Hopefully. And somehow that was a performance-enhancing thing for the long jump.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, even going back to like NASCAR, like you know, people will find the weirdest little thing, and when you talk about aerodynamics,
advantage,
it is a huge thing, right? I mean, and that's the thing is any little stupid trick that you come up with could be enough.
If it looks stupid but it works,
right?
It's not stupid.
So you know, again, is there? Is there other stuff going on that we want to talk about? There's stories coming out about the data center in Hobart. There's a lawsuit to try to stop that. It'll be interesting to see if that moves forward. Again, a local issue, a local point of contention. It'll be, you know, that's another one of those divided issues where, you know, you don't want it in your backyard, but you also... we need data centers. So that, you know, again, another complicated issue. But
what else did they have? What's been big over the weekend? The thing when you have an event like the Super Bowl and, you know, this whole Bad Bunny thing, and we're talking about that, is whatever happened Friday and Saturday just escapes us.
Right. Well, and that's sort of the thing, right? I mean, and I was expecting that this would be a big issue. And again, it's something that I'll just keep going back to the idea that I'm not the target audience. I was like, okay, this is going to be the big issue. And so obviously if that's something that you guys, I mean, again, maybe there's other stuff going on. Maybe it's just like, I don't care. Maybe we have, again, I'm of the philosophy of sort of just aged out at this point. 219-845-1100. If you have thoughts, if there's something else that you want to talk about, we're open. We are open. The airlanes are open. I want to hear what's on your mind this week. I mean, I guess the thing that I keep coming back to is the question becomes, and this is what I was asking you guys before we started, was Bad Bunny chosen because of his music, because he was the best choice for the job? Or was it because, like, oh, hey, let's get that guy that speaks Spanish. That's really going to tick off the MAGA. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's the question. Like, and again, I don't know. Maybe he is a fantastic artist, and maybe that has nothing to do with it. But I really, like, every decision now is sort of like, oh, man, that's really going to tick off the MAGA if we have somebody singing Spanish.
And I wonder if it wasn't so much that it would tick off Trump. I think even if he was a great thing, I didn't watch it. It was clearly a choice that was a deliberate choice. You know, otherwise, I don't know.
You would have had Aerosmith or somebody. But I mean, that becomes the question: is
America Aerosmith anymore?
Right. Again, that's the whole idea of Aerosmith is not the target audience anymore. And that becomes the inherent question as you have a scenario where everything, I mean, the idea that even something like this would become such a divisive issue where it's like, okay, you guys want to have your halftime show in Spanish? That's cool. We'll have Kid Rock over here. And then 10 million people will change the channel and go watch Kid Rock. I mean, the idea that this is what it gets tiresome, is that everything has to become a thing now, right? I mean, we almost do it by design. It's not like, hey, just grab Green Day. Even then, like, this is the thing, like, every single musician right now, I was reading about the Tom Morello guy. We used to play Dropkick Murphys on here. I stopped playing that because they went crazy. Everybody's like trying to out anti-Trump each other in that sphere. And so it becomes that thing where it's like, okay, now you've got are people choosing artists based on, well, what are, like, I like this guy's music, but what are his political opinions? You know what I mean? Like, so it's like, are they losing audience because, these Tom Morello guys are running around going F ICE, and it's like, I don't know who you are, but I'm probably not going to listen to you. And that becomes a question: is that the? I used to call it the two economies, the parallel economies. Is that the future? Is that the future of this country, where you have these parallel economies, where it's like, even so over the weekend they announced Kid Rock's tour. I saw Kid Rock a couple years ago. I'm not a huge Kid Rock fan. Somebody's like, "Hey, I got box seats for Kid Rock." I'm like, okay. I heard it's a crazy stage show, and I appreciate stuff like that. So I went to see him at Tinley Park, whatever it was, a couple years ago. It was an amazing stage show, and so that becomes a question: is like, even them announcing that Kid Rock is going to play at Tinley Park, people are attacking Tinley Park, going, "Well, I'm never going to see a concert there again."
Yeah,
like,
right.
Yeah, right. But again, like, is that really where we are? Where you're going to have like two concert venues? You're going to have like the left concert venue and the right concert venue. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know that there are a lot of people that I follow,
and I believe nobody wants to hear it. Nobody and maybe it's me. But again, I could care less. I'm always disappointed when, an actor or an artist or a musician, whatever, goes off on some political tangent, because whether I agree with them or not, I know immediately half of their audience is now just blah. And I do it too. There's a handful of movies that I won't watch now because of, when actors come out, and it's like, I just entertain me. Can you just? Well,
and that becomes a question
dance.
Though, is like, even in the case of Kid Rock, his show opened up with a video from President Trump on the big screen, and there was a lot of like, MAGA stuff going on in the show. So does that become part of the show where it's like, hey, I'm MAGA, I'm going to go see Kid Rock, or does it turn people off? I mean, I don't know. I mean, his show is still full, and all these other people that are coming out, F ICE people are still going to their shows, Dropkick Murphy people. So, I mean, again, is it going to be a thing where this was the point of my discussion today, was political capital. So and this becomes a question, and Lynette gets roped into this as well, because what I was originally thinking about this week was the idea that Trump and the Republicans are burning through a lot of political like this ICE issue has become, and so here's the thing, like, Lynette, did you follow, like, there was all these walkouts last week, like there was kids walking out of school and stuff like that. So this becomes the question is he so hell-bent on the ICE issue that he's willing to basically burn a generation of young people that are like, I'm never voting Republican? Like, this is, so for a lot of people, like, when you're in middle school, when you're in high school, that's your first exposure to politics. And so right now you have a whole generation of people that are like a little bit younger than you, that their first exposure to politics is, there's this dude Trump in Washington, and he's like kidnapping my neighbors. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's basically going to like ruin any chance Republicans have for winning an election for the next like 20 or 30 years. And so I have a friend who, I don't know, Lynette, were you here when my friend Mike came on, the guy with the funny hat and stuff?
I don't think
so. My friend Mike, that's very left. He'll come on at some point. He's been bugging me to come back. He made some of our callers cry, so he hasn't been on in a while. But so he is very much, he's a Hispanic lawyer. He'll come on. He's a great guy, but he's very much like very, very much anti-Trump, like to the point where he sends me messages all day long. And I'm like, okay, man, just gotta dial it back. I said, this man's going to give you a heart attack. But I said, I asked him, I said, what is your goal? Like, as somebody on the left, is your goal to just completely eliminate the right? And I said, that's not good. I said, I've been to Cuba. I see what happens when is your goal to not have a second party? Like, is that your goal, is to just be like, we win all the elections and there's no other party? Because I think that's a bad place to be as well, right? So, I mean, that's the whole thing. It's like, the people that are very much anti-Trump, it's like you want every Republican, Bob and Dyer all the way up to the White House. You want every Republican to lose and never win an election again. Like, that's even worse than what we have now.
Well, and it's so myopic for the folks that are in Indiana that are complaining about, the Republicans have this supermajority and they're doing all these horrible things and they can get away with whatever they want. We need that. Okay, so it's not that.
Right, Illinois, it's okay.
Yeah, in Illinois,
Right.
it's okay.
It's okay when my team has a
Virginia,
super
it's
majority.
okay. It's just my team needs to have control of the ball all the time. And then we can do whatever we want because we have the ball. But when the other team has it, then all of a sudden it's crimes against humanity. But
Well, and that becomes the inherent question: is when you have like people are telling me about what's happening in Virginia, where you have when you have the majority coming out and saying, "Hey, we're taxing everything that moves," including we have a climate change agenda, so we're going to have all these climate taxes and things like that. That's what happens when you have a majority? They make bad decisions. And you basically get stuck with those bad decisions for many years. And that becomes the same question about, here in Indiana or in Illinois or any other place where you have the majority is when they have the power, like somebody was telling me the other day, have you been following this about there was a politician in Illinois that wants to have, you need to get a permit to have a backyard fire. So like even to have a fire pit in your own backyard, you'd have to have a permit. And if you get caught without a permit, it's a $100,000 fine. So you literally have a little fire pit in your backyard, and somebody stops by, they could fine you $100,000 for not having a fire permit. Like how out of control do things need to get before you go, wait, that is insanity. So, but Lynette says we have to take a break. Why don't we take a break? We'll be back.
I think she shut us off like 4 minutes
ago.
Well,
either way. So we'll be back. We'll be taking your calls here, 219-845-1100. We'll be back with more after this.
It's the simplest expression. The smallest thing that changes everything. A smile. So easy. A smile lights it up. Apologizes. And welcomes unconditionally. Because the shortest distance between two people is a smile.
Thank you.
Strachan Van Til, where making life easier starts with a smile.
For over 100 years, Roofers Local 26 has been keeping Northwest Indiana dry and safe. Since 1919, our highly trained members have built a reputation for skills, safety, and reliability. With a 4-year apprenticeship and certifications in OSHA safety, first aid, and CPR, we deliver quality you can trust. When you need roofing done right, choose Roofers Local 26, protecting what matters most for over a century. For more information, visit www.roofers26.com.
Tech Credit Union supports the essential role of union labor in building strong communities. That's why we offer hassle-free banking, financial empowerment, and a commitment to your success. Save for the future, handle life's challenges, and trust a partner that stands by hardworking union members. Tech Credit Union, the better option for you and your money. Visit techcu.org or call 800-276-8324. Tech Credit Union, supporting union families every step of the way.
But it's kind of, listen, you got to catch up.
Yeah. I'll catch up with you. I'll be right back.
I'll see you in a minute.
Anything else? Yeah.
Well, what's up, boy? Hey, Ryan. Not tonight, man. Not tonight. Oh, yeah. You got some rhyme. Hey, come on. Let's go. Come in.
Yeah. She's always waving at us.
Oh, that's
like,
nice.
hi, how are you? 6:28 here in the region. It's Monday. Why don't we take a look at traffic and weather? Traffic looking good. Things going surprisingly well. Things going swimmingly on the roadways. Not much to report here in Indiana. Everything moving along. 80-94, I-65, Skyway Toll Road. Everything looking good here. Got a little slowdown in the usual place. Dan Ryan on in to the circle. Other than that, things looking swimmingly in Illinois as well. How is the weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 21 degrees with highs of 39 and lows of 35. It's going to be partly sunny and then partly cloudy later tonight. Tomorrow on Tuesday, we'll be having highs of 45 and lows of 27 with times of clouds and sun. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 28 and should be partly sunny.
Thank you so much. So I guess the other thing, hang on a second. Okay, so
you were disappointed when you saw that go away, weren't you, Lynette?
Yeah. We had a caller.
We had a caller, and they were like, ah.
So okay, well here, so here becomes the next question: is all of this controversy just a way to distract us from the fact that it looks like Epstein is probably alive and living in Israel and playing Fortnite? There, I said it.
Yeah.
So okay. So then again, this is a Lynette
Even
question.
CBS came out with a thing like, yeah, okay, now we've got new videos.
So this will become Lynette. Here becomes the next question. And again, I just keep pushing Lynette, and she doesn't answer me. What do you think? Again, like in your circle of friends and all, like what do you think would happen if we have the Epstein issue? Nobody that was involved ever gets prosecuted. It turns out Epstein's alive in Israel playing Fortnite. There's no consequences. The only people that face consequences are the poor victims, some of whom have taken their lives and will be traumatized for. So basically, we have this massive scandal that is essentially being swept under the rug. We find out that everybody in power is doing things we can't talk about on the radio. There's zero consequences. And then, oh, by the way, the guy that facilitated the whole thing that we said hung himself in the jail is really alive in Israel. I mean, what would your generation just go, dude, dude,
yeah,
what?
We probably wouldn't be that surprised.
Well, I mean, but again, this becomes my thing is, I was telling somebody the other day, like, I'm disappointed in our generation, and I just have hope that here's what we need. I need your generation to basically have like a massive, like a massive like mental breakdown. Like, wait, Epstein's alive. There's no consequences. I can't afford anything. I can't afford a house.
Building 7. Sorry.
Dude.
Sorry, Chuck.
Okay, hang on.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. But I'm just saying, like, at some point, it just needs to be so comically corrupt that your entire generation just snaps and goes, no, we're not doing this. And that's what I always hope for my generation. I've been on these airways for 15 years going, when are you guys going to go enough? And we aren't. We're just going to, that song, we're not going to take it. As it turns out, we took it. So, I mean, again, like at some point, somebody needs to go, no, that's not happening. Like, no, we're not accepting this. Like, this is not, like, you guys, again, like we've aged out, and at some point you guys are taking over. It's like, no, we're not doing this.
I think that's good to think about, that my generation and the young generation, we're the future, and we're seeing all this stuff happen. We're going to remember it once we're in office.
Well, and that's sort of the joke is like, wait till you guys are all in the old folks' home. We'll teach you. But again, that's the thing is that we are.
Well, our generation tried that, but they just won't leave.
Well, they're
80 years old and still elected.
But it's sort of like even with Zoran Mamdani,
boomers.
he won this election. Zoran Mamdani reminds me a lot of like when President Obama was running. It's like he was young and optimistic, and he said, I'm going to change the world. And then as soon as he got into office, he actually saw the real budget of New York. He saw what was really happening. He was like,
oh, we can't do
any
of that.
Oh, this isn't good. He's like, again, all of that optimism. I saw that happen to Obama during the transition. He went from this young, bright-eyed guy. He literally, Obama went gray in a week. Like literally, we here and watched it. I always joke that at some point when he had a transition office in Chicago, that at some point, like the CIA and everybody sat him down and said like everything that we aren't allowed to know. He literally went gray that week. Like he came, he had bags under his eyes. He looked like he had aged 10 years, like in a week. And that's what Zoran just went through. He's like, oh yeah, we're gonna everything's gonna be great in New York. And then they sat him down and told him the budget and what's really going on. He's like, oh man, things are not good. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Like that, it's great to be that optimistic, but I say the same thing about Bernie Sanders and stuff like that. Like it would be great if the world worked the way you thought it did.
The oligarchy.
Well, yeah, the millionaires and the billionaires. But
meanwhile, he spent $250 million on private jets.
But my point is, there's nothing wrong with being young and optimistic and having these like, hey, we're going to come in and change the world. But then at some point, you hit that brick wall of reality. And it's like, oh, now I got nothing. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is bad. And now Zoran's going to spend the next 4 years going, how do I keep, the streets plowed and stuff like that? Like, all of his grand ideas are out the window. Now he's just trying to keep the lights on.
Pick up garbage.
Right, just keep the garbage picked up because the budget is such a mess. So let's take some calls because I know you got some people calling in. So why don't we, I'm anxious to hear what people want to talk about this morning. So go ahead, hit the button. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you all doing this morning?
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you doing?
I want to throw something out there. And then
yeah,
I'll call
absolutely.
Back.
Well, it's fantastic.
What was Obama born in the United States? Or was Obama born in America?
I mean, he was born in Hawaii, which is technically the United States, right?
Okay.
Well, I mean, is that the grenade you're throwing out? But here's
I'm saying, but hold
go
on.
ahead.
Hold
go
on.
ahead.
Oh, you know where I'm going with that.
Okay, well, I want to see where you're going with this.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Apparently, the president of the United States, Donald Trump, cannot forget over the fact is that Obama, that birther thing is coming up again. There's something about 2 8s yesterday. Obama's 8th. I ain't heard nobody talk about that.
Wait,
Walt,
hang on. Go ahead. Hang on real quick. Let's drag this. So tell me about this, because I usually follow these things. So you're saying that President Trump brought up President Obama's birth certificate? Is that what happened?
He basically, it was a post, his post that the Obama's 8s. And
the video. Hot. Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, okay, I did hear about that. Okay.
That's hope. But I'm again, now, I'm trying to start trouble, but the President of the United States refused to apologize for it. Refused to apologize.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
So
yeah, I did hear that.
I'm just simply saying that right now, and when I say that this president don't know what to say or when to say it, is that bringing people together? But I'm gonna hang up and I give Walt. If you're listening, you always tell what Matlock is doing. Matlock is not doing anything to affect your livelihood.
Okay, well, no. Here's the thing, though. So I want to ask you, though.
I'm gonna call back because
Well, let me ask you real quick, though.
I call back.
Okay. Well, okay, that's fine. We'll be here. We're here till 8:30, so feel free. He'll call back. Yeah. No. Again, like that whole thing with I tried to follow that, like political capital. Like you're just throwing gas at this point. So, okay. Was that the call? Okay. Is that another one? I can't see. Is
No.
that so? That's saying that there was a call. Okay.
Oh,
now we have a call. Okay. Go ahead. Take that one. Okay. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Am I on the
You are.
air or someone else on the air?
No, you were on the air. Good morning.
It's confusing in the morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm alive and kicking.
And that's what's important,
I
right?
wanted to let's talk about something new.
Yeah.
Okay? Just
Okay.
a little bit that's not talked about on this show, okay? And I've been a listener forever, okay? So you know that.
Mm-hmm.
My name is Laura. Okay, why is ICE here? I'll tell you why they're here. You know Lincoln Riley, right?
Right, Lincoln Riley, yeah.
For her. Yeah, so you know all about that, right? What happened to her, what happened to a lot of people. Okay, like I said, my name is Laura. I have a son who has been addicted to drugs for 20 years. He is in recovery. He did not ask to be, like a lot of people think you asked for it. He'd fit in, okay, with for some reason. But I don't care who's president. I'm not all politics. I'm not all, Republican and all Democrat. I believe what I see, what I hear, and I do my research.
Okay.
I've done more research than the FBI, okay, because I've dealt with this 20 years. My son has been clean through the grace of God for 17 months.
Fantastic.
It has been
really
a nightmare.
Yeah, no, I mean, it really, it becomes a drain on the whole family. I understand. Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah. So he's overdosed over 30 times, in which an overdose means that your body's reacting badly to a drug.
Right.
Okay, it could be an aspirin, could be but okay, the thing of it is, the drugs that have come across the border in the last, since 1920, okay, you can go further. Right now, it's the least amount that are coming into the United States. And a lot of that has to do with Trump. Okay, I don't follow this man and dream of him at night and all this bullshit. I research, and whatever. Overdoses are down. They're especially down in Lake County here. Everybody knows someone who has suffered from addiction.
I went to. I mean, again, when you go to I went to a funeral of a young man who passed away from a fentanyl overdose, and he was not, as far as his family knew, he was not someone that regularly did drugs. And so again, it became very real for a lot of people when you walk into a funeral home and there's somebody there that, is a young person and taken out in the prime. I mean, again, that you're right. That should have been a non-political issue of something is happening and we need to get to the bottom of it. I completely agree with you on that.
Right. But why did it take? Now, first of all, Anyone that is talking about politics or what's going on in the world today has to look back at the last administration of Biden, who let thousands, hundreds of thousands of people come in without knowing who they are. And it was inhumane watching these people think, mothers, babies, fathers, they were human, being put in places. They were thinking that they were going to go to a home to have a different life, the American dream, a better life than what they had. That was what they thought, right?
Right.
Where were they taking? Anybody that has eyes and watched anything and followed this could see there were people outside of O'Hare Airport dropped off in New York in the midst of the coldest time.
Well, so remember now,
blanket.
so I work downtown, and
let's bring that up.
I work downtown, and I would constantly see families of people with young children during the summertime, and they were, again, like everywhere. I work on Halsted Street. They were all over downtown, and I kept thinking, these people come from a climate they are not used to 30 below zero. What's going to happen when all of these people, when it gets cold, and you have all of these people that are not used to this climate, that don't have anything to, like, how are these people going to survive? And I kept thinking, we're going to have a huge crisis on our hands in a place like Chicago, because you have a whole, and that's what we have. And they end up sleeping in police stations and things like that.
Exactly. It was all over the United States. And you look at the Democratic states, they were arresting thugs from other countries. That's what I want to call them, because I can say, the gang and all that. They were arresting these thugs that were beating up police officers and let them go. Do you remember this?
In New York, I remember that.
Was Arizona.
Yeah.
Yes, in Arizona, which they were finally arrested. That was under the Biden administration, because he was mentally ill and no one gave a shit, okay? Excuse my language. I don't mean to be that. But this is my passion. Okay, this is my passion. By what Trump does, like him or not, it's what did he do for me and my purpose. He's closed the border. Now, for God's sake, can anybody see that? And what came through? Did anybody get the name and number of? Because I have to be documented. If I do something wrong, they know where to find me. I live by the law. My kids live by the law. My family lives by the law. But these people that came in across the border under Biden, do people know each and every one of them where they are and what they did before they got here? Were they related to the cartel? Did they have a record of killing someone? Pedophilism, which is one thing there is no cure for, that is the bottom line to me, okay? That is it. You don't touch any children. People don't look back at why this is happening. No one cares. Biden was mentally ill, would fall down the stairs, stop talking, whatever. And no one stood up. They sit back and let this happen. And now someone's trying to make America safe. Isn't that what we are once? Isn't that why we have our military all over the world, to make sure that we are safe? Do you want your neighborhood safe? Do you want your city and county and country safe? Or do you just want people here from all over and you don't know their name, where they come from? What is their record? I have a record. Do you have a record?
Right. No,
yes, I do.
Right. I get what you're saying. No,
You can look at my license. They can find me if I go kill somebody.
Right.
If I go run a traffic, chase the police, they can find me. But people are protecting people that they don't know what they did. Just because of what? Because ICE is out here, which is trying to do a job that I see. And when you have someone, that many, so many people out there trying to find out where this person at and go do their job, and you have hundreds of people protecting this person, and they don't even know that's from another country. I don't understand that. I don't get it, and there's nothing no one can say, because I see, I read, and I educate myself.
Well,
it's what I see. No one's brainwashed me. No one can brainwash me.
Right.
But the thing of it is, by closing that border and watching who's in the United States has cut down on the fentanyl and the drugs coming almost 90%.
Right.
And it could be off a little bit. It's here. I'm waiting for the coroner's office to send me the update on all of the data from last year.
I would be curious about that, so keep us updated on that.
Significantly.
Okay, I would certainly be interested in that to see, because again, that affects families, that affects entire communities when those things happen. So we do have to take a break, but thank you so much for the call. I'm glad that your son is staying clean, and I hope things continue to look up for your family. So thank you for that. Thank you so much. Thank you. She brings up a point that we don't talk about enough, is that there is. And even regardless of what side you fall on this issue, she's making the point that, securing the border had a positive effect on reducing fentanyl deaths and reducing overdose deaths. But there's the other side of it that we don't talk about a lot that was really intriguing to me that nobody talks about. It was when you find yourself, when you get brought into this country illegally, you basically become someone that can easily be abused and mistreated, and there are no consequences. Going back to Epstein and no consequences. So a lot of times I was reading in Chicago about people that would basically, you'd get brought into this country and they say, okay, to pay us back, you are going to go work, you're going to clean this factory at night. You're going to do these dangerous things. And then, oh, by the way, you can't call OSHA. You can't call the police. You can't call anybody. So basically we own you. You're going to do what we say. And you don't get to call anybody. You don't get to use any services. You don't get to call, OSHA. You don't get to call anybody. And we just own you and get to do what we want with you. And that's the part that we don't talk about, is that there is that other side. And that's, that's unfortunate as well. And that becomes the question, is if you are somewhere and you are essentially living in the shadows, you have no rights. You really don't. And so that's another thing that we need to figure out. Again, stop playing the politics and say, here's what we have. You have a whole bunch of people in Chicago with no coats. You've got people that just are in the shadows, and what do we do with them? They're human beings. We need to take care of them. And they become this political football. And then, like she said, is ICE grabbing people off the street, or is ICE trying to target people with warrants and people that have criminal? I mean, to me, it sounds like ICE is targeting people that are criminals, and people are trying to stop them from doing that. And that's what it sounds like. And if you want to, tell me otherwise, people in Chicago say, no, they're just grabbing nannies off the street. I'm like, I don't think so. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't see it. But so why don't we take a break? We'll be taking your calls. We'll be back with more after this.
Introducing Powers Health, a health system with a new name and a strong legacy of caring for families in our community. One with a tradition of advanced specialized services and a vision for the future. One with a commitment to medical excellence and compassionate care. Everything we do, everything we believe, Powers Health.
Life's biggest challenges don't come with a warning. When legal issues arise, whether it's a car accident, personal injury, criminal charge, or representing you before municipal boards, you need a trusted advocate on your side. At Westland & Bennett, we listen first because your story matters. We provide strategic, personalized legal solutions to protect your rights, your freedom, and your future. Peace of mind starts with a conversation. Call 219-440-7550 today for a free consultation.
Do you like to work with your hands, creating something from nothing? Then think about Laborers Local 41. You'll get 432 hours of apprenticeship training, all while earning a wage with benefits and incurring no student debt. You'll travel to different job sites, learn tons of skills, and in a lot of cases, be the first one on and the last one off a job site. It all starts at laborers41.com.
Are you sausage curious?
Who's ready for Polish?
Big Frank Sausage has the very best Polish food in the region.
You had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage?
We have a full bar, dine-in, carry-out, delivery, and catering available.
I've had a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
I've got a mouthful of Big Frank sausage.
219-378-9556. Smacznego i na zdrowie.
Who's ready for Polish?
6:49 here in the region. Chuck, Bob, Lynette here with you. in the new old new studio. We were just talking about something over the break that I want to get into at some point in the show, is this idea of, like, we were talking about, boycotts and things like that. I can't even keep track of who's boycotting what for what at this point. Like, who's boycotting Target? Am I supposed to boycott? Like, why are you boycotting? And that becomes that parallel economy of, like, hey, Walmart's the left and Target's the right. McDonald's is the left and Burger King's the right. Like, again, it's going to, this is where we're going. And I predicted this years ago, is we're going to end up in this weird parallel economy where you're going to have, like, even going back to Kid Rock's going to play at the right auditorium, and then, Dropkick Murphy's going to play at the left. It's a parallel economy. You're going to have like the 2 Super Bowl. You're going to have more of that as we progress, and it's going to become like the Super Bowl, like halftime show used to be a thing where everybody watched the Super Bowl, everybody watched the halftime show, and we just all watched it. And the thing with Janet Jackson, whatever. But again, it was like we could all turn it off for a Sunday.
Everybody forgets what she gave up.
Right. What did you give up? What did Justin Timberlake go through? Yeah. But again, it was like we could turn everything off for a Sunday and watch a game, and now we can't do that. We can't do anything without it becoming political.
We can't even enjoy the bread and circuses.
We can't enjoy, right. If you can't enjoy the bread and circuses, what do you have left? Okay, we got a full boat. Let's take some calls. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I got a new name for the show.
Uh-oh.
Spot and Dot.
Spot and Dot. I'm Dot? I guess you're Spot then.
Dot.
No, evidently I was Spot.
Spot and Dot.
Like the 7-Up guy?
Yeah, you're Dot. So
okay, go ahead.
You're just a little microcosm in the whole world, but you're trying.
Well, no, I'm trying to understand my world, though, is the thing. Is I really, that's always been, even when I was a kid growing up here in Roxana, I wanted to understand the world. I wanted to understand people's motivations, and that was one of the things. And I also wanted to be a storyteller, which is why, I always loved WGOB growing up, and now I'm here, and you're listening, and like 3 other people are listening, and we're having fun.
I'm going to explain it to you.
Go ahead.
I'm going to explain it to you. I love the poorly educated, okay?
Right.
I think it's part of dumbing down. I came from the greatest generation. I'm a baby boomer. We were taught different. The woman, this last woman that called, she wins the internet.
Sure, absolutely. Okay. She's been through a lot, and I appreciate her call.
She just told you, and you guys didn't think of it because you're dumbing down. You're like 0.2 beer.
Mm-hmm.
That she told you why Trump is here, and you should have said that.
No, I agreed with her. I said I understand. So again, this becomes.
Why?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Why didn't you say it? Now,
what do you want me to say?
Talk how bad the dumbing. I don't know which generation this one is, but me being a baby boomer on this NIPSCO thing, vote them all out. Vote out Braun. Vote out Mervin. Vote out Andrade. Vote them all.
Okay,
out.
so hang on. So we've got an elected official here. And I want Bob to jump in on this. Is that going to fix the problem, Bob? Because again, here's what you have to understand, MX, and this even goes back to the train. We kept talking about, they're an appointed board of unelected officials. There is this insulation. You are in, Chuck. No, I'm saying do you want to fix the problem, or do you want to be outraged?
The poorly educated. Now, this is the difference between the greatest generation, baby boomers, me. I don't know which generation you are. But if you listen to Randy Niemeyer's video.
You mentioned, you sent it to me. Yeah, we heard it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, in the first minute, he explained that in 2021 that Biden had the House and the Senate, and they went with the new Green Deal. And that has caused those NIPSCO rates. And Holcomb agreed with it. Now, he's a Republican governor. I'm not sticking sides for anybody. This is hitting me in the pocketbook. But you could tell that from the greatest generation gave birth to the baby boomers and how we were raised and how the dumbing down keeps going down. I know which generations you guys are at, but that woman that called in, she has to be a baby boomer.
I agree.
We learned way different than you guys. And what I'm trying to tell you is nobody, if you listen to the comments on this NIPSCO madness, you know what? You know, everybody, I know you got your heroes, but they all need to be voted out. My God.
Okay.
If not, please put in term limits, because we got another Pete Posklowski who's going to give us a train. Did you see the schedule of that train?
Yeah, it's
that,
ridiculous.
Was posted.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous. We'll talk about it
You
soon.
would have to be a brain surgeon. You would have to. It doesn't. How could you make something up like that? If you're here, you better be here, and if you miss it, you got to wait for an hour and 45 minutes. That's what you call public service?
No, and we knew this. We knew this 10 years ago, MX. But okay, go ahead.
Another person that wins the internet is Randy Niemeyer. He's coming out with another video. We have to look at the root cause of everything, and this is the dumbing down I'm talking about.
Okay, so let me ask. Let me interrupt though. Here, let me ask this question.
Search the border, Chuck.
Okay.
Search the border by Biden. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So we talked about this. We talked about this a little bit in the last couple of weeks. The idea that the cost of doing business for NIPSCO has gone up. That, again, I don't know the numbers, but we all know copper has gone up. We all know the cost of materials has gone up. The cost of labor, everything has gone up. And unlike the local grocery store, NIPSCO can't just arbitrarily raise their rates to compensate for that. They have to ask for permission. And unfortunately, the downside to that is their inflation hits you all at once, not a couple percent a quarter, like going to the grocery store. So you have these protests of NIPSCO. And again, I love the First Amendment. I'm glad that everybody went out there. Bob, we're going to talk about that NIPSCO protest a little bit later. But so you're protesting NIPSCO because they raised rates, because politicians approve the Green New Deal. So again, why? So I guess that becomes a question: is what does protesting NIPSCO do when you're saying the Green New Deal is Biden's fault? Like how do you? NIPSCO is responding to a cost of an increased cost of doing business because of something that happened in Congress years ago. But we're protesting NIPSCO.
You forgot one guy, Mervin. He voted for the new Green Deal.
Okay, so why is the protest not a hit? So here becomes a problem, MX, though.
I'm going to call you Dot.
Okay, MX, here becomes the problem.
Now, Spot is listening.
Why was the protest not at Mervan's office on Broadway? Why was it at the NIPSCO office on Broadway?
Well, they're going to do that once they find out the root cause.
Here's the problem, though, MX.
Randy
Here
Niemeyer's
becomes
got it in the video.
Here becomes the problem,
Let's
MX.
go
No, listen, real quick. Half of the people that are part of this NIPSCO madness and protest, they are not going to protest Frank because they voted for him. Because the average American is a first order thinker that doesn't appreciate cause and effect. They don't appreciate cause and effect. They don't understand that their vote has consequences. Voting has consequences, elections have consequences, and they did this to themselves. So instead, they're mad at NIPSCO instead of themselves for voting for the guys that voted for the Green New Deal. So that's what I don't understand is how do you fix this problem by protesting NIPSCO when they're just responding to the regulations that the government imposed on them? You're mad at NIPSCO because they're raising rates just like every grocery store and restaurant did, and you're blaming them for just basically raising their rates to stay in business. You're blaming them and not the congressman you voted for. How do you protest?
Exactly. The two guys sitting right there, you two guys sitting right there, you said it perfectly, Chuck. You might win the internet. But when you have to explain it just like you did, your congressman and Biden and
Holcomb and everybody, both sides, right? Everybody got sucked into it because, go ahead.
That's why MX says vote them all out. One last thing. Let's go way back in time. Let's go to Camelot.
Well, okay, but here, real quick though, what do you want to do? Do you want Bob to be governor and I'll be the congressman? Who's going to replace them? Is the problem? If
I get to drive you downstate, because I guarantee you,
I'm flying the helicopter. We're taking the helicopter. We're taking the helicopter. I'm going to land the helicopter in Briar Ridge, like Oprah wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then we're going to
over my house constantly.
Yeah, we'll fly over your house.
Yes, if you two ran for governor and
congressman,
what's the second governor in charge? I would vote for you only if I got to drive you to Indy with in the limo because the baby boomer is going to straighten you two guys out.
I would be like,
okay?
you ever see that one? There's the president of, I forget what country it is. He like basically just drives like an old beat up Yugo. I would be that guy. I would just drive this old like car back and forth to Indianapolis. Everybody, is that the governor? I'm like, yeah, it's the governor driving an old Yugo. But anyway, go ahead.
The first thing we would do, we would stop at the first hospital and we take that microchip out that Jed planted in both of you. Now let's go to the greatest generation, Camelot. You know, and it took me a while. I was, Kennedy's Camelot. I was in love with him.
Yeah,
but
everybody
then I
was.
found out Robert went after Jimmy Hoffa, and Kennedy ordered it.
Well, also there was
the end of the labor movement.
Well, you had
It was the end of the labor movement when the Kennedys went after the labor movement.
But remember, that was
unions,
Joe
but nobody
Kennedy.
realized
Joe Kennedy made that deal, and I mean that is such an interesting story that nobody knows. I mean, that whole Kennedy. I was getting into that the other day with the JFK assassination and all that stuff. I mean, there's so many tentacles there, MX. I love it. But go ahead.
Now remember, guys. Root cause. If we
Cause and
that
effect.
Cadillac, that 64 Cadillac that Hoffa ride, I'd have to buy one when I was driving you down when you guys are governor and step governor.
Hey, real quick, it is 7:01 in the region. Hang on, real quick.
Root cause.
Go ahead. Cause and effect.
The woman just told you root cause, and you guys have to remember root cause and tell people like you just
Cause
did,
and effect. So, hey, it is 7:01 in the region. You're listening. Thank you, MX. It is 7:01 in the region. You're listening. Spot and Dot. You're listening to AM 1230, 104.7 FM in beautiful Hammond, Indiana. We got some calls. You guys will wait. It's up to you. If you want to take them, we'll take them now.
We can take another call.
Okay, let's take another call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, Chuck.
Good morning, sir.
Chuck, how you doing?
I'm good. What's going on?
Chuck, wasn't there some guy for like the past 20 to 30 years that was telling everybody about elites flying down to Pedo Island to do really bad stuff to little kids? What? And everybody thought he was crazy.
What? No, hang on real quick. What happened to that guy? Do you remember what happened? I remember that he got sued for $2 billion in a kangaroo court.
Oh.
And then they tried to, and then when he tried to make a deal, he said, "Okay, we'll make a deal." They said, "No, we don't want your money. We want to silence you. We want to shut you down so that you don't have a voice anymore." I remember that guy. I remember. I used to listen to that guy.
Yeah, and then the name Paul Wiseman comes up, and it's the same the same law firm that has spent $300 million trying to take the guy's name and basically eliminate his existence. Ain't that?
Erase him from existence. Yeah, that's weird how that works out, though, isn't it?
Yeah, ain't that funny how this all worked out? Yeah,
I was talking to Brad Gimble the other day. I said we owe two people an apology: Alex Jones and Brad Gimble. We got to make
Yep.
But again, this is like one of those things. I mean, you could go back to what was that guy saying in the summer of 2001? I was watching that. I showed somebody that video the other day. It blew their mind. I mean, again, it's like if you've been following these things for 20 years, it be like 25 years now. It's just comical. Like again, it's like it's just comical, and all you can do at this point is laugh because it's so sad and comical that all I can do is laugh at this point and go, hey, get my popcorn and go on the radio. You know what I mean?
That's it. That's it. Yeah, that's all you could do.
Hey, we got to take a break.
So,
anything else before we take our break?
No, but I just had to bring that up to you. I've been waiting all weekend to talk to you about that.
No, I literally told Brad Gimble that. Brad Gimble called last week. I said, we owe you both an apology. Everybody owes you an apology. So, but the problem is the people that owe him an apology the most will never understand why they owe him an apology. So,
nope.
Okay.
Nope.
Thank you so much for the call. We got to take a break.
One.
You too, man. Okay. Again, there's so much. We need an after show podcast just to get into the stuff that we can't talk about on the radio. Let's take a break. We'll be back with more after this.
At Albert Steinman Jewelers, love is the heart of everything we do. That's why we're known as the Love Store. This Valentine's Day, we're celebrating the moments that matter most and the ones you'll remember forever. Explore our newly remodeled showroom with stunning pieces from David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Lagos, Mikimoto, and Shy Creations. along with exceptional watch brands and the most beautiful diamond rings. With every purchase over $99, receive a dozen roses, a box of chocolate, and a special dinner voucher. We'll see you at Albert's this Valentine's Day.
IBEW Local 697 electrical contractors bring the highest standard of electrical work to Lake County homes, schools, and businesses. From everyday fixes to once-in-a-lifetime builds, we don't just get the job done, we get it done right and up to the highest safety standards. When you need electrical work, hire the professionals who power Indiana. Powering Indiana, Lake County, bringing excellence to the job, creating a brighter future for our community.
Ogren Insurance, Hammond's oldest family-owned independent insurance agency, now in its third generation, providing clients in the Chicago area with products from quality insurance companies to handle your every need. Regardless of driving history, Ogren Insurance can find the right coverage for you at competitive prices. To learn more about the insurance solutions and services we offer throughout Indiana, Illinois, and Michigan, call 219-933-0076 or visit our website, ogreninsurance.com. We're located at 6929 Holman Avenue in Hammond, Indiana. Do business locally with someone you know and trust.
For a fast and friendly car wash, go to Easy Clean Car Wash. Open 7 days a week in 4 convenient locations: Highland, Griffith, Cherville, and Lansing. Free vacuuming, air freshener, and a towel with every wash. It's fast, safe, and gentle. For more information and hours of all our locations, visit myeasyclean.com. Also, see how you can wash your car daily with our $10 Ultimate Wash for only $19.99 per month. Give your car the best clean at Easy Clean Car Wash.
And that's why boomers have screwed everything up. Right, Chuck? Oh, are we live now? Oh, golly gee.
Listen, I think you're doing a good job as a politician, and I want you to continue to have a job as a politician. So just remember that. Remember who shows up to vote and who doesn't. I gave you that lecture last week.
Yeah.
About who when that doesn't show up to vote. Like when that generation talks a lot, but they don't vote. They like 3% of them show up to vote. Remember who votes?
If there was a vote
I'm just saying,
on
like,
TikTok.
do you I mean, it's crazy though. Like everybody gets so outraged on TikTok, but then they don't vote. Like 3% of your generation showed up to vote. But again, that overall we have what 12.
Why is that?
Let's do traffic and weather. Now we can get into that.
Okay, traffic.
Zoom. Everybody's zooming this morning. So traffic here in Indiana. Everything looking good, 80, 94, 65. Skyway Toll Road, everything looking good. Dan Ryan, Bishop Ford looking good. Just a little slowdown in the usual spot heading into downtown. Other than that, everything else looking good, and the Chicago area roadways. So, Lynette, how's the weather?
Good morning, everyone. Today we're at 20 degrees with highs of 39 and lows of 35. It's going to be partly sunny and then partly cloudy later tonight. And then Tuesday we'll be having highs of 45 and lows of 27. Should be times of clouds and sun. And then Wednesday we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 28, and should be partly sunny.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. What are we going to do? Just go to calls once the commercials are over?
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Okay, go ahead. Let's take a call. Good morning, caller. You are on the air.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Straight to the point.
Yeah.
Are you two going to vote for Mervan?
Never. Well, I would say never have, never will. But I did one time to keep the lesser of two evils from winning the election. But no, I don't expect we will. I don't expect either one of us will.
Yeah, no, that's.
Bob, yes or no?
I said no. Sorry.
So neither one of you are going to vote for Mervan. So where should our vote go? What candidate's the best?
Bob? Your spotlight. I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, I guess that's the thing is, I mean, obviously, so we know Jennifer Ruth Green dropped out.
She dropped out. Well, she didn't drop out. She was never in.
Well, okay. She
was never in. You can't drop out of something you didn't.
Well,
you
okay.
didn't,
Fair point. Fair point.
We've got two candidates on the Republican side, Ben Ruiz and Barb Rignetz. I think that's how you pronounce her name.
We'll have to get him on to find out how.
from
Ben, I know,
County.
good guy. So. So again,
but I don't know anything about them yet, other than this is primary season for them, so it's up to the two of them to,
But that was my point. Is MX? We always shout, vote them out, but who are you replacing them with, right? I mean, that becomes the question. It's like, vote them out. Okay, well, fine. My whole life you've been saying vote them out, and then they do, and then you find somebody who's worse. So that's the problem.
Hey,
go ahead.
Can we get Miss Regnitz on? See what she stands for.
Oh, absolutely.
Bob is
so I do the Region Republican show here on WJOB. I'm working with her management team to get her on middle of February, end of February, I think, because we've got a couple shows lined up. So yes, 100%. I would love to have a debate between the two of them, but 100% we're going to get Barb on here.
We had a discussion the other day about how we don't debate anymore, and so somebody has to step up and start doing that. And obviously, in Bob's case, his party can start facilitating debates again, because remember, they're basically two private entities. So Bob and his party can say, we're going to have debates among our primary candidates, as it should be, and then now it's incumbent on the other party to do the same thing. But yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Bob?
Yeah.
Bob, do you think you could get her on Monday morning with you and Chuck?
I can ask.
What I would like to do is I would like to have all three of them come on. And so was anybody challenging Mervan? No. So I would absolutely enjoy immensely for 3 Mondays in a row to have the two Republicans and the Congress. I would love nothing more than to have the congressman sit right here and have a chat with good old Chuck here. But I don't think he's going to do it. Maybe he'll come on Thursdays or Fridays. He's not going to do it, and he's not going to. He'll come on Thursday or Friday, but he would never come on and sit with me. I would love to. If anybody knows him, tell him, it's right here. Come on in. Any day, I would love to have that chat with him. Respectfully.
I would like to see you get Miss Regnitz on and see her stance on current issues.
Okay.
With both of you, where you've got a hard-hitting audience, and ask her to take the calls from people like MX and Mad Mac and Matlock. And if we're going to talk about Matlock, good morning. And Matlock, can I give you some current talking points other than Trump is bad? Matlock, I've never heard you talk about the Somali fraud. And Matlock, you always want to tell everybody that you're a vet. You remember some of these Somalis tried to kill our soldiers, right? Number two, Matlock, after you're done talking about the Somali fraud, how about telling me about a current thing when Senator Kennedy called out Senator Raskin for his $30 million bank account in 2 years? Can you touch on that one, Matlock? And the previous female caller was exactly right. We're in this mess right now because of the floodgates open under the Biden administration. And I feel for her the empathy. I
Absolutely.
cannot imagine going through that all those years. And Trump and this administration is finally trying to put a stop to this. But there's a mess of 4 years under the stumbling, bumbling, fumbling Biden that we had. So, Matlock, I await your response. Bob, Chuck, have a great morning.
Thank you, sir.
Hey,
Appreciate it.
just so you know, full transparency, I don't know if it's on the YouTubes here. I just sent a text to see when we can't get her on. So
We absolutely. I would love nothing more. I mean, again, there are a lot of candidates, but I would want nothing more than to sit down with each. I mean, I would love that, and I think we'd give every person, Republican, Democrat, a fair. But I'm not going to hold back. There are a lot of things I would love to really get into with Mervan, and I'm not going to. I mean, I would hold him to account. There's a lot of issues that I have with his party and how things are going in Congress, and and we've had these discussions when Randy was on as well, and And I would love nothing more than to do that. I would love to have our governor on. I would love to have LT back on at some point. So, but go ahead. Good morning, caller. Let's take another call. Good morning, you're on the air. Go ahead.
Michael was good to have Michael on.
He was fun.
That was
fun.
good.
I enjoyed him.
And surprisingly, sorry, caller, just 1 second. It's very humanizing to have him on.
No, it was great. And we need more of that at the state level. Go ahead. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yeah. What is the date of the primary?
May 5th, I think. Let me double check.
No.
Yes, May 5th.
Yep,
May 5th.
Is there going to be early voting?
Yes, early voting, I believe, starts April 7th.
Okay, April 7th. Okay. Great. Saturday night, I was watching Bill Maher on CNN, 10 o'clock, and they had, he featured John Mellencamp, Cougar Mellencamp. You know, he's from Indiana, big liberal, and they were talking about where did he get that Cougar thing, and he indicated that it was given to him without his prior notice by the New York City agents that he got involved with. Did you ever hear that before?
Agents gave him? Oh, okay, I could see that. It's like you need something different. We'll call you Cougar. Okay, I could see that.
That's where he got it. Really looks he looks scruffy as heck. I mean, he said he hadn't done drugs since 1971, but I can't say that I would believe him. But any case, moving right along, you know, when it comes to, I've been knocking around Republican politics since the Reagan period.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the Democrat modus operandi. They create problems, and then when the Republicans come along to try to fix it, they attack the Republicans for being lacking, they're racist, they're lacking compassion. Take, for example, the masses of illegals that we have running around, ripping off the social welfare system, crimes of all kinds, and just being a fuss. I mean, Biden gave us that. The Democrats offered no opposition to it, although at one time they were very, very strong in terms of opposition to illegals. And now they smear Republicans as Nazis and Gestapo and evil and so forth. And of course, then there's the ACA, Obama's signature medical system. Not one Democrat and not one Republican voted for it. I mean, and there was massive amount of information that it was going to lead to big trouble, all of which has come to pass. And the Democrats expect that the Republicans are supposed to fix it for them. And since they don't want to fix it, then you're lacking in compassion, you're a racist, blah, blah, blah. This is the game plan they play over and over and over again. Never stops.
To push back the wall, I mean, again, I always find myself disappointed in the Republicans as well, because it seems like whenever they have the opportunity to do the right thing, they just fall apart. Again, even now, I mean, this idea that they are constantly, they have always been, both parties have been a constant disappointment in my life, because you run on these platforms of, again, you and I talk about being fiscally conservative, and what happens, like even in our state, like it's hard to call this state fiscally conservative anymore. We really are kind of a mess. That's like, you're going to see it down the road. But that becomes the question is why is it that Republicans can't stick to their guns when it comes to these issues that people find important? That's where I always both parties just fall short.
That's why they dislike Thomas Massey, because Thomas Massey is the one guy who actually governs as if he campaigns. Every Republican for this primary season here, you're going to see them say things that just evaporate as soon as they get in office.
Right, and nobody's going to hold them to account. Is the problem on both sides. You don't.
And I say that as a Republican.
Right.
Well, I attended a conservative conference in Cleveland a number of years ago. Pat Buchanan was there, and I raised the question: why is it that the Republicans just don't formulate a consistent opposition to the outrages of the Democrats? And Pat Buchanan said it. He said sometimes it takes courage, and sometimes it's lacking. And I would say there's a lack of party discipline on the Republican side, and they lack courage.
Right, and I think that's the problem. Right, I mean, I think
I have to agree with that.
Right, I think both sides inherent. Well, again, and this goes back to the idea that if you go to Congress with the intention of wanting to do the right thing, a bunch of guys will take you aside and go, no, you will vote along party lines, you will do what we say, or we will primary you out. I mean, I think that's the inherent problem with Washington. I mean, and I think most people would say, I'd rather be here and play the game and, basically come here and lack the courage to do the right thing to continue to play the game. I worked too hard to get here. I'd rather just vote along party lines and, win re-election. So it's unfortunate, Walt. Go ahead. Anything else?
Remember that Pat Buchanan took the lead when he ran for the presidency. Remember, one of his major issues was getting control of the border and the consequences of not getting control of that border. He was viciously attacked by libertarians. He was viciously attacked by corporate-oriented Republicans because they wanted cheap labor kind of thing. And now he was clearly a president character, and when it came down to the brass tacks, he was making perfectly legitimate points, including the rule of law kind of thing, and he just lacked support, and now we're dealing with a horrible mess.
Right. No, completely agree. So, but hey, Walt, thank you so much for the call. Appreciate you as always. Thanks for checking in with us. We got a whole bunch of other calls, so why don't we get through? Let's get through another one, and we'll chat for a minute. So go ahead. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
Good morning. I'm awake finally. You know what? I woke up with, listen, as soon as I put you on, I'm hearing blah, blah, blah.
That's what we are, the blah, blah, blah with Chuck and Bob. Mornings here on WJ, Monday mornings, WJOB.
I thought today's a national holiday after Super Bowl. Why is everybody calling in? Everybody should be home sleeping in like I did.
They were for the first hour.
They were, yeah. I forgot about that. Everybody's sleeping in. It was such an exciting game, they couldn't go to sleep.
Yeah. You know what? I'm going to do what I have to do when it comes to the primary. But the thing is it reminds me of Adam and Eve and that tree, that good tree, that the Spirit talked to them and says, don't eat of that good tree, because what happened? Evil. Okay? I think Adam was a Republican and Eve was a Democrat, because she wouldn't listen and she didn't like the good stuff was going on, so she ate of that good tree because she didn't like all the good stuff that was being done. That's what it is. The Democrats are so stupid. When things are going good and things are getting done right, the dumb Democrats, they got to do everything to destroy what's going to be done good, what's going to be done. Like Frank Mervan, I got the letter. I got to print it out and give it to all my trucker buddies now. He just opposed to the immigration detain center in Maryville. He agreed to let women play in women's sports. What kind of stupid first district congressman do we have that's so stupid? Is he brain dead? Or how did he ever – didn't his family raise him right or something? Or are they the whole family brain dead?
Is he simply voting along party lines because he wants to win re-election and he wants the financial support to continue to run, and he doesn't want to be primaried out? He doesn't want dark money to come in and a dark horse candidate come in to replace him. So again, I don't know, and I'd love to ask our former Congressman Pete. I'd love to have him sit down and where is he? I'd love to have him tell me about how things really work in Congress for the 30 years he was there. I would love it if a congressman came forward and said, "Hey, here's how it is."
Yeah, like I got it now that I got that letter, I got to hurry up and get it printed out because I've been having meetings with all these truckers in Northwest Indiana to let them know how Mervan feels about us voters in his district. That's the thing about it is why should we vote for somebody else? It's really a different thing. I mean, honestly, we're all getting old. All these people in Congress and the Senate and everything, because now, I'm not voicing my opinion no more on NIPSCO because, put it this way, the governor, the state representative, and people that are elected in office. Because if you go down and I got a friend that lives away from NIPSCO for REMC, and they got a bigger house than mine, and they're telling me what their NIPSCO and gas bill is where they live. Okay, and they got a bigger place than mine, and it's when I heard that I says, yeah, it's because them people that are on that RM whatever site is, and our governor is the one that elected them. I don't know, those people that are on that board, are they all Democrats? Or I don't know.
Well, again, that becomes the question: is you have these appointed boards of unelected officials making decisions that are ultimately affecting your pocketbook, and that becomes the question: is how did we end up in a situation where all of the big issues are being decided by these? Has anybody yet named a single person on that board? Everybody knows who their congressman is. Nobody knows who's on this board. You know what I mean? Like that's the question. Nobody knows who's on these boards. So
where can we get a list? Is there somebody out there listening or somewhere where we can get? The governor appointed that person.
Yeah, you can
we
Google
should
it.
Have the right
it's there on their website.
People and the thing is, I'm going to let you go because so you can go on because I got to get ready and go to work. But the thing is when I go to a store to shop, and all the places I go, if I get bad service or treated wrong, guess what? I go somewhere else.
Right.
I won't go to the same store.
Well, and that becomes a question about monopolies, about government-created monopolies, is you don't have that option with NIPSCO. Yeah, right.
No, and that's the reason. That's the way I am with politicians. If you don't treat me right, guess what? I'm not going to treat you right. I'm basically going to do what I have to do, go somewhere else and do something else. If you don't, because there's one store that I'd like to go to around here, but when I had bad service, guess what? I never go back there again. Just like if we go somewhere and eat and the food's not good.
No, perfect.
Guess
okay.
what? Never go back there again.
We wrap up because we got to take a break.
Yeah. Okay. Well, everybody out there, have a wonderful holiday today of Super Bowl.
Perfect. The
People
day after.
Call off.
It's like Black Friday.
Yep.
The day after Thanksgiving is like the day after Super Bowl. Okay. Thank you for the call, Mike. Real quick to his point, I did a thing. I got invited to a food tasting at a restaurant I go to in Chicago. And they're talking about the food and all the things. I said, well, hang on a second. I said, here's the thing that you guys forget about is that half the reason I come here is because you have good service. And I brought up one of the guys I know. I said, these guys are great. And if the food was great and your service sucked, I wouldn't come back. If the service was great and the food was okay, I might be like, okay, I'll come back and give you another shot. It's like that's the part that we forget and I just reminded him, I said, you guys are all about the food here. That's great, but your service is just as important. And I think that's the part that we forget. But let's take a break. We'll be back with more after this.
From the gas in your car to the heat in your home and the roads that you drive on, our work powers daily life. We are USW Local 71, the proud men and women of the Whiting Refinery. We're not just refinery workers. We're your friends and neighbors, raising our families here, shopping in the same stores, and cheering in the same stands. USW Local 71, powering the region because we are the region.
When life takes you places and you can't get to the store, shop online with Strack and Van Til To Go. Our to-go service is easy to use, and it can save you time and money. Once your order is in, our own Strack and Van Til team preps your order with care. For delivery or pickup, enjoy the convenience of letting our to-go team shop for you. Enjoy your special moments. Sign up online today at shop.strackandvantil.com.
For over 140 years, the Central Midwest Carpenters have built our communities in Northwest Indiana. Are you ready to join the effort? We have long-term work, competitive pay, and the best benefits in the industry. We pride ourselves on innovative training and commitment to worksite safety. Earn as you learn as an apprentice. A solid career built on a solid legacy. For more info, go to carpenters.com.
Are you searching for a college where you belong? Calumet College of St. Joseph wants to know you and give you the support you need to succeed. Are you worried about how you'll pay for your degree? 95% of our students receive financial aid, including scholarships and grants. Need some extra help with your classes? You'll benefit from our small class sizes, free tutoring, internship planning, faculty mentors, and so much more. Come experience our accepting, supportive college family for yourself. Schedule your campus visit and apply at ccsj.edu.
Hey, 7:31 here in the region. We are only here till 8 o'clock, so let's get to it. Let's take a look at traffic and weather. So traffic, been good all morning. Been a pretty quiet morning. Things looking good here in Indiana. You got the usual slowdowns, Bishop Ford to the Dan Ryan. Other than that, things looking good all around the Chicago roadways as well. Lynette, how's the weather?
Oh, hold on.
Oh, it's still refreshing.
Yep. All right, good morning, everyone. Today we're at 21 degrees with highs of 39 and lows of 35. Should be partly sunny and then partly cloudy later tonight. As for Tuesday, tomorrow, we'll be having highs of 45 and lows of 27 with times of clouds and sun. And then Wednesday, we'll be having highs of 39 and lows of 28 and should be partly sunny.
Thank you so much. So Bob is out gallivanting with our 8 o'clock show, so Lynette said, what do we do? I said, well, let's take we did the show before Bob. We'll do the show after Bob. So let's just take some calls. So good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning, caller. Okay.
Good morning again.
He's calling back.
Okay, Chuck, I'm back here. I'm back. Walt always called me out. I guess he liked me pretty well. He speaks very highly of me, even though sometimes. But let me just go here. Now we what month are we in? We in February, right?
I think so. Yeah, all month.
Okay, what is February?
Black History Month. You're right. Yep.
Okay. What a post of the president of the United States picked in Michelle and Barack Obama apes.
I saw
I have yet to hear.
Right.
I have yet to hear. Hold on. I have yet to hear anybody who calls in and say they love Donald Trump, and he refused to apologize. You know, rather than for him to come out and condemn that. This is the president of the United States, man.
Right.
You know, that's when I asked you early on.
Yeah.
That's when I asked you early on, and I was giving you a chance to say that basically this came out, and Donald Trump refused to, and I would have loved to hear him say, "Oh, I condemn that," but he wouldn't say. That's when I asked you where was Obama born in the United? Was he born? And you said Hawaii. That's right. That's part of the United States, I believe. So I'm saying when these kind of racist thing, and that's what I have to say. And people say, "Oh, don't be talking about." It was a racist thing they put out there. These people who won twice, Barack Obama won twice. So it seems to me like Donald Trump cannot get over it that he lost the election. Do you believe he lost the election? Do you believe it was a fair election? against him and Biden.
So,
hold on.
Go ahead.
If it is, they had not. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I like I said, you asked me about this a couple weeks ago. I said I believe that that for the most part we have fair elections. I think that we also have room for improvement, and that's something that we need to work on. And I brought up, Rudy Clay, may he rest in peace, and all that stuff. And so again, there is room for improvement, and there is reason we should always ask questions. But for the most part, I believe we have fair. For the most part, I believe we have fair elections. Yes.
Okay. When he wins, he don't say there was.
Well, okay. To be fair, though, Ron, there was people telling me that Elon Musk hacked Starlink satellites to hack the voting machine. So both sides do that nonsense. There was a bunch of people saying that Elon Musk hacked the election, right? Do you agree? I mean,
now, do you ever listen to? A lot of times I hear people talking about Frank Mervan. He has an opponent, by the way. He has an opponent in the primary.
Who is it?
Do you know what? I'll tell you who that person is. Her name is Levita Spark Wade.
No, really?
Wait, hold on. Let me tell you. I went out to the county because it didn't show in the county because she had to go downstate to file.
She didn't tell me about that. No, really.
Oh yeah, looks like she did file on the 6th.
Well.
Okay, I know what I'm talking about.
Here's the thing.
I know what I'm talking about.
I saw Levita we both. I know Levita very well. I brought her. She does Spark Speaks here on WJOB. Well, we'll have to talk about that as well.
Well. Levita.
Yeah.
Is that the lady who was fired from the city of Gary?
Yes. And she talked about it here. She came on these airwaves and explained what happened, and you can go back and listen to it. She was on with me.
I'm just saying, for all those people who would like to have somebody in the Democratic Party, she is a candidate. She's running against Frank Mervan.
Well.
Okay.
Well. You made my morning, Ron. You made my morning. Just want you to know that.
Okay. I try to come on with facts.
I just want to make sure. I want to make sure you got these facts before I put this out. We agree on this.
I know people like Bob, and people like some of the other people will say, "Here Ron goes again." Right now, first of all, these people will never be able to bring Frank Mervan has Levita Spark Wade. Now there is 5 candidates running on the Republican side. I think you all mentioned that one lady, she's a commissioner. She's running, and she probably will be the candidate because after Niemeyer, Green, and all those other people flunked the test because they didn't make it, okay? So they trying to this lady's supposed to have $1 million in a war chest, okay? She's supposed to have $1 million, and I tell you, she'll be the candidate. So for all those people, don't have to worry about it, friend. Now you might be able to vote for him in the general election if you choose to, between him and that lady who's commissioner. What happened to Niemeyer? What happened to Green? What happened to all these people that they say they were going to be winning? Right now, Frank has done a good job, and he deserved to have. He's been. I think this is his third or fourth time going up.
So Ron,
he win every 2 years.
Okay, so let me just ask this though.
So I'm just saying.
Go ahead.
I like for the media to be fair with candidates.
Okay, well, and I said I'd love to have him sit here. I'd love to have a fair discussion with him. But here becomes my question that I want to go ahead.
You're gonna have to be. You're gonna have to be like Christian Recker on Meet the Press. She has a Republican on, and she has a Democrat on. You ever watch Meet the Press?
I don't watch traditional because I don't want to get my mind confused. I don't watch that stuff. But I'd love to have them both. I'd love to have everybody in here. I'd love to have just everybody on and have a debate. I'd absolutely love that, and we ask that all the time. But that's on our place.
What I'm saying, Christian Recker has a Democrat on the same show and a Republican.
Yeah, that'd be great.
The Press, talking about issues in America.
Yeah,
and I think she's fair. When somebody say I don't like Frank in the first place, why would I have you to interview me and you tell me you don't like Matlock? Why would I have you?
Okay, but the other question becomes though, would you? And this becomes my argument. We were talking about this the other day. Is if somebody's out there saying stuff about you that isn't true, wouldn't you want to take those things head on? And why? That's what I don't get about politics. Is like I would love
not with not with a news person who don't like Ron Matlock. Person, hell no.
Well, if it makes you feel better, I don't like
Hell
anybody
no,
in
no,
office. I'd be fair to everybody. I don't like any of them. I don't like anybody except for Bob. Bob, you're okay.
I'm just saying.
Everybody else is like,
it's unfortunate that a lot of people. It's people who don't like Frank Mervan. We call it a setup. Okay, it's a setup. So I'm just simply saying right now, what is facing in America right now? Why are they still talking about Biden? Why are they still talking about Obama?
Well, okay, so but here's the thing, though.
It's about our future.
Okay, but here's the thing, though, Ron. Here's the thing.
President.
But you say that, though. But the problem is that we don't talk about when you pass. I mean, again, Walt mentioned the ACA. That has had long-term consequences to the medical system in this country. When a politician passes a bill or a law, just like what Trump's doing with immigration, that's going to have long-term consequences. You can't say, let's not talk about the past, because all of the decisions that this government has made in the past is how we got $38 trillion in debt, is how we got to this place, is because we keep talking about the future, not the past decisions. I mean, do we agree that decisions have consequences? That's the problem.
Yeah. Too often we are single issue in America.
Agreed.
Okay?
Right.
We rather you say immigration. That was the thing. Is that why we got him in the White House? What about the economy? What about people who are going in there? So you got to blame him, and now you can't.
But that was the number one issue. That's the thing, though, is you said
what are you?
But that was for his voters, for the people that voted for President Trump. That was the number one issue, was immigration. So you could say, what about the other issues? That was their issue.
Okay. I'm saying. Yeah.
There was a bunch of people that said the number. I mean, there was when Hillary was running for office, their number one issue was we want a woman in the White House. It had nothing to do with her qualifications. It was we want to vote for a woman.
I agree that got him in office probably. Yeah, I agree with that. Now I'm agree with that.
And the polls,
I'm just simply saying,
go ahead.
But should I give him a grading now that he's the best president you ever had because of a single? We
already know what you're going to grade him. I mean, that's what I'm saying is you. That's why they don't grade. They don't say. They say, well, what are your thoughts overall? But then also, what's your issue? What's your grade of the economy? What's your grade of this and that? I mean, that's the whole thing. Is that, like you said, if you're a one-issue candidate, go ahead.
Let me tell you. I just hear, and I'm gonna let you go on this. I just hear some of the Republicans are saying now that post that Donald Trump had about eighths of a block Barack Obama in Michelle.
Right.
They're calling. They say that was a racist thing. Even Tim Scott, he's a black Republican from South Carolina. He said he ain't never seen nothing like that come through the White House. You know.
And again, that's what I said about
and again,
President Trump is burning through a lot of political capital with these nonsense things, and it's going to turn off a lot of people for voting Republican in the future. I mean, I agree with you on that. It's nonsense.
And not in the very near future. Right now, I'm telling you, as I talk on the radio this time, the Democrats, and I'm a Democrat, but I won't be voting on. We will be able to take control of the House.
I agree with you on that. I already agreed with that. Yes. I agree.
Hold on, and we are 4 votes short of the Senate. If in fact we got some people like Dick Durbin, he's not running no more, but so that seat's already held by a Democrat.
Right.
And so I'm simply saying right now, and I think it's because of Donald Trump. It's not so. If he just knew how to handle himself, but every time he opened his mouth, one person talk show host said, if he keep his mouth shut, it would be better. Just keep his mouth shut. He doesn't know what to stop, and because he thinks what got him there was immigration. Now, but there are other things affecting America. People being killed. The president is saying that we're gonna take 700 people out of things because right now the problem is worse because of the fighting and across America. So I'm just simply saying that I'd like to come on with any of those guys like Walt.
I think that we need to do that. We need to have like an open phone line for them. We'll figure it out.
Come on the conversation,
isn't that called Monday?
And I want them to stick to facts. Pardon me?
No, we said I'd love to do that. We're trying to figure out a way that we could do that. We could take everybody's calls at once and put you guys in
just like a big old party line.
I think we should do that on the. We shouldn't do that on the radio, but yeah, go ahead. No, I think it's a great idea. I'd love to do it.
So Waltz, if you listen to Waltz, why don't you call in and what about that post that Obama that that your favorite president got about that racist thing. I'd like to hear you call in about that. And if you don't call in about that, then I'm not willing to even talk to you about it. Okay? Have a great day.
Okay, I appreciate it. Let's take a quick break, and then we need to reset, and we'll be back. We'll take the last few calls here in the last 15 minutes here on WJOB.
If you're thinking of finishing your basement, installing outdoor security cameras, or your business has plans to break ground on a new project in 2024, Powering Indiana, Lake County is your source for the region's best electricians. With IBEW, Local 697 electricians, you're choosing the highest level of safety and reliability. Visit poweringindiana.org today and ensure your project is in the hands of skilled professionals.
Before Notre Dame Federal Credit Union, we were being charged various maintenance fees and various check writing fees for all of our accounts. And with Notre Dame, we don't have that. We have that true community partnership. We get interest based on all of our parish and school accounts, and the interest rate is really second to none.
Have you ever considered becoming an iron worker? Local 395 is now accepting applications for their apprenticeship program. Go to ironworkers395.com. Look under the training section, click on apprenticeship, and scroll down to the application. You must be 18 years old, have a high school diploma or GED, and you must be physically able to perform the work of the trade. Find out more by calling the apprenticeship school in Lake Station at 219-962-7675 or visit ironworkers395.com.
At Albert Diamond Jewelers, love is the heart of everything we do. That's why we're known as the Love Store. This Valentine's Day, we're celebrating the moments that matter most and the ones you'll remember forever. Explore our newly remodeled showroom with stunning pieces from David Yurman, Roberto Coin, Lagos, Mikimoto, and Shy Creations, along with exceptional watch brands and the most beautiful diamond rings. With every purchase over $99, receive a dozen roses, a box of chocolate, and a special dinner voucher. We'll see you at Albert's this Valentine's Day.
Which is why we brought the goats in with the party hats, because they would go out in the field and they would. Oh, we're back?
I want you to get reelected. Okay, so you guys waited until the last 15 minutes. Everybody's calling, so we're going to power through some calls. So let's do that real quick. Good morning, caller. You're on the air. Good morning.
Hello there.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good. I just want to leave you with a little thought on
Sure.
my prediction of what's going to happen.
Okay.
All these Democratic cities, states, and counties that are harboring the immigrants, from 9 months from now or around next fall, there will be a baby boom. Have you ever thought about that?
No.
Think about that. Who's going to pay for that?
Well,
Who's
okay,
paying for
interesting.
that? You, me?
Yeah, okay, I got you.
Is that something? Have you ever thought of that?
No, I had not thought about that. That's something that we'll put on our agenda for next year to talk about.
What do you think's going on up there? You think some of these women are harboring these men, and these men are harboring some of these women? You know that's going on, right?
That very well could be
It's
happening,
cold.
right? Right.
Just think about this. There's going to be a big baby boom next about September,
Interesting thought. Yeah, I'd never thought of that.
and we'll probably be paying for it.
Well, that's a possibility. Well, that's a possibility as well.
Just think about it.
So, okay. Well, we got to power through some other calls. So thanks for checking in. That's something interesting. I had not thought about that, but we'll see how that plays out. So next call. Good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
You know, please, I've told you guys this in the past. It's my opinion this station is extremely left-wing. In my opinion, it's gotten worse. And part of the reason it's gotten worse
Because Bob's on 3 days a week now is why. That's why it's gotten far left, and now that Bob's on 3 days a week.
I gotta go. I gotta go there, Chuck. It's because of the kindness of the libertarian and the elected counselor from Dyer.
So we're being too
the
nice?
Other shows, they don't tolerate conservatives. So please, just one show, just one, where the host, co-host has a conservative and or libertarian point of view. That does not mean that they don't listen to everybody. Please, that's not what I mean, but at least I know where you're coming from and where whoever is the quote-unquote Republican, if it's not Bob, can they please have a conservative point of view? They entertain all callers, because the last thing I need is more liberal programming, which would totally evolve to that. If you have all these people coming on here saying the same thing that I heard weeks on end, I know Mervan's the greatest thing that ever existed, and I know Mervan's the worst thing on the face of the earth. I got it.
Right.
I got it already.
There's no in between. It's one or the other.
Point.
That's it. Right.
I got your point.
Right.
You know, Didlo Sand emailed him. Pete used to live in Chicago Heights. Now he lives in Dyer. He told him very simply, talk radio. Well, email. Talk radio. It's not complicated. We're making it more complicated than it needs to be. I'm not talking about you two directly. Okay, I want to make that point clear. But my point is, your kindness is the problem. Again, I want to hear all points of view. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, this is a leftist station. People don't want to hear it, but I'm telling you, I believe it. You brought up an excellent point. Now get off the point. I judge everybody that comes on the air, not the callers, the hosts. I judge the hosts, and both of you guys passed. I'll tell you why. Bob, intellectually honest, has the guts to say when Republicans aren't doing something right. He said it. I heard him many times. What I'll hear from the left when they call this station, I like Republicans, I like so-and-so, and I like this. All the people they, quote-unquote, like that are of the other party, they're out of office. And you know damn well they never voted for him. But they like him once you're gone. I heard the same thing when these same people were praising John McCain. They love him, they love him, they love him, until they ran for president. Then he was a racist. But I want to tell you, Chuck, specifically why you were intellectually honest, because you brought up a point, and I listened. I listened carefully. That protest on Indianapolis Boulevard in Highland, Indiana, I watched it, because you know I'm against the military-industrial complex.
Right.
I watched it. Oh, Republican in, they protest. Democrat in, they go away. I asked the guy, I know his name, Nick, I know the guy. I asked him, where were you at when, I'm against the military-industrial complex. Where were you at when President Obama was in?
Was drone striking weddings in Afghanistan and Yemen? There was no protest. There was no outrage. So, and again, it was funny because you heard that. You probably heard that flashback that I heard over the weekend. I was going to make that point again. I'm like, I already made that point before. That was, again, that's the hypocrisy of when both sides. And again, like I was thinking about this earlier, nobody would believe you if you said that there, under Obama. I remember going to the Gary Airport when they were deporting people on Thursdays at the Gary Airport. How many protesters were there? There was like seven. There were 7 people out there. Reverend Marie and like 7 other people were out there. Nobody cared when President Obama was deporting people every Thursday from the Gary Airport. There were 7 people there. God is my witness as a journalist. I covered these things. Like nobody cares.
Well, and that's where so much of this anti-ICE stuff is fake, and I'm not saying this like the Trump fake news thing. It's fabricated outrage. It's
right.
Fabricated outrage. It absolutely is, because under Obama deported I forget which Latin America group labeled him the deporter in chief. Obama has deported more people than Trump has by millions, and that's to include. Millions. And that's even to include the self-deportations. So anybody out there saying that, Trump's this bad guy, he's deporting people, he's got like maybe half, maybe 2/3 the number of Obama. But then even to those same people who are saying, he's going into Argentina, he's doing these things. What happened with the Obama bombed 7 different countries without congressional approval. And no,
and so,
where are the protests there? So it's all fake outrage. It's all fake. It's all fabricated. And so when people were talking
about the drone strikes on the suspected drug boats, I said, where were you in 2008 when he bombed the wedding in Afghanistan? Where were you in 2013 when he bombed the wedding in Yemen? I mean, he bombed a Yemeni wedding just in case there was a terrorist there. And it turns out they weren't there. So, but nobody cared. Nobody cared. There's no protest. There's no outrage.
Let me give you even more.
Go ahead.
Does anybody remember Elian Gonzalez?
Right. I posted.
Trump, Clinton.
That was Clinton, yeah.
Well, here's the thing.
To his space in a closet.
So
do you remember that?
Can I tell you the meme I posted the other day? Bill Clinton came out and talked about how, like, this is the most outrageous thing that a president's ever done. I posted his words over the picture of the Waco compound burning. You know what I mean? Like, it was outrageous what Trump did. It was pretty outrageous what you and Janet Reno did too, with Ruby Ridge and Waco. Let's be honest. Like, again, but we don't remember that.
The thing is, some of us have memories.
Right.
I know that's shocking to people.
It's a curse, though. It's a curse to remember history, because then you're just like, I've been here, done that.
And it's something. I've told this to Ron Matlock. Ron Harlow on this station. It's like, that's how my mind works, man. I think. Oh, I remember this. I'll bring it local. We're talking about all this ICE and they're bad. There's a local attorney here, based in Gary, now retired. When immigration wanted to build that facility in the city of Gary by the airport where they deport people, Gary, he was all for it because he was going to make money. He's retired now. This is local. He's retired now. He's totally against ICE now. But he wanted to have a facility in his city where he resides, where he practices, because he was going to make some dinero, bro.
Well, and that's what it comes down to, isn't it? It comes down to that. But hey, look, we got to take a couple other calls because we got to finish up here. So I appreciate it. Good points. We got a couple more calls before we got to go. Go real quick. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, real quick, Chuck and Planet Fitness Bob. Hey, Chuck, since you're the big time reporter in Chicago, there, did you see the thing last week where the guys jumped out of the car in broad daylight on a Tuesday and Wednesday
and they shot up a car with a baby in the back seat? Yeah, no, I saw that. I saw that from 3 different angles. It was outrageous.
Now, let me get this right. I want to refresh Ron Mailbox's tiny little brain. It was February. It was Black Lives. What do you call that month? Black History Month. And in honor of the history of Black America, 3 black kids jump out of a car, blast over into one car, 30 into the other, killing other black Americans. Hey, good.
And it was over a Facebook post or comment or something too. It was over something on social media.
Yeah, they posted. It was live. It was.
No, I watched it. Yeah, I watched it. No, but I'm saying the argument is what started this was some Facebook argument. So this is why I try not to argue with people on Facebook.
So it doesn't matter. Listen, somehow, in honor of Martin Luther King and Black Lives Matter Month or whatever idiotic thing they labeled this, they jump out of a car and shoot their own people. Hey, good example, Ron. And by the way, Ron, don't ever bitch about health care. It's called Obamacare. You wanted it. You got it. Now eat it, Ron, you moron.
Okay.
And then when George Bush, they made him an ape. I didn't hear anybody apologizing for that. Hey, just so you know, Brad Gimble thinks the Turning Point USA halftime show, he says Charlie Kirk was in the background playing a triangle on the Turning Point USA.
I'll have to go watch now. I have to go to look for myself. Okay, thank you for the call. Let's take the next one. We got 2 minutes left. So good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Hey, guys, I got to call out Matlock once again. I gave him talking points this morning, current talking points. Kennedy on the other senator's $30 million bank account in 2 years. And Ron didn't say anything about it. I also gave him the Somali baloney that's occurring, and he didn't say anything about it, but Ron wants to bring up the economy. Ron, where would we be with the economy if it weren't for the Democratic fraud? Ron, put down the watermelon, pick up a pen and paper, take notes. The Democrats are fraudsters from day one. And if you want to talk on Black History Month, the Democratic Party has not done anything for blacks currently. So stick that in your pipe and smoke it.
Hey, it's
Happy Black
7:50.
History Month, Matlock.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, one more call. Jim says 8 means 8, which means we have 2 more minutes. So go ahead. Take the next call. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
I think Mike should have just said that. He just straight up missed me by being on the air, Chuck, honestly. What do you think?
What happened?
No.
Go ahead.
I said I think Mike should have just said he missed Sam Michael being on the air. What do you
Well, that's what I was thinking. I mean, that's what. I mean, you're always welcome. I got the extra seat here. You're always welcome to come back. You bring back the afternoon show. Everybody says we need one.
Yeah.
Okay, so how are you
I'll tell
doing?
You what,
Go ahead.
I'm great. I'll try to be quick, but I never like to call in. I always say you don't call at the station you work at, but I guess you split the companies, so I don't really technically work
Yeah, you don't
anymore,
technically
so
work here anymore.
I just want to make one. I want to make one point clear: why Donald Trump got elected, not just once but twice, and depending on your perspective,
three times,
what you really think. But the idea that it's about anything other than he was not a politician. The idea that it was about any of these issues and all that, the people in the middle of the country who elected Donald Trump, both here in Indiana, places like Pennsylvania and Kansas and Missouri, those people got tired of the two-party system and what I just heard on the air for the last 30 minutes, which is the Democrats suck, but the Republicans are good. The Republicans suck, but the Democrats are good. Every time you sit here and spend 30, 45 minutes, or some people their whole sorry lives doing this debate, you are doing exactly what the media and both parties want you to do, a.k.a. the ruling class. Now, Donald Trump was able to get people to understand that, hey, I didn't have to go be a town council member, then one day run for mayor, then one day become a senator and a governor. He just said, I'm going to run for president because I think I can fix it. And because he wasn't, at least in his background, so corrupt, at least politically speaking, we know his business dealings, whatever, but at least politically speaking, with the people's money, the taxpayer dollars, he did not screw us there. People were open to voting for that guy for that reason alone, not because of immigration and what his economic prowess was going to be. All that was great. What he said was great. They just made it even easier. But it was the idea that I don't want Mitt Romney anymore. I don't want to be fed John McCain. I don't want to be fed Gavin Newsom. And yet here we are again. We're going to go right back to that same crap. And you're going to get what you wanted. But guess what? The media is going to make it seem like it's better because there's no paid protest. And so you can have what you want. You can feel better about yourself. And things are just going to keep getting worse.
Hey, your boss is out in the window telling me we got to go. Hey, I appreciate the call. Bring back the afternoon show. You and Tony Panic. I mean, come on. It was gold. Right. Come on. You got to do it. From time to time. You come do it from time to time.
See you guys.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we got to go. Thank you so much, Bob. Thank you, Lynette. Who's coming in at 8 o'clock, Lynette?
Alta Vista Network.
Okay, stick around for that. We'll be back next week. Appreciate everyone as always. You take care. Have a good one.